Hey everyone, my name is Jeremy Reyes. I'm the founder of Purpose Beyond Profit. The purpose of this video is to show you how to build and grow your business in alignment with your God-given purpose. So it's gonna be 5 steps, and I'm gonna walk you through each step. Hopefully by the end, you will know exactly what your Purpose Beyond Profit is, how to share your story, how to build meaningful relationships, how to systemize your business, and how to lead yourself holistically. So that's the goal for this video. Thank you for your time and for being here. I'm really excited to do this with you guys. So step one is to start with a purpose beyond profit. Your business is a single expression of your life purpose. So it's not something that you have to manufacture. You don't have to go and discover and find out what your purpose beyond profit is. You actually were created with it and designed with it. It's something to embrace. And I have the next slide will help us get a biblical view of what your life purpose is. But for now, what's really important that you understand is that your business can be a single expression of your life purpose. And when it is that, you can tap into the motivation, the focus, the inspiration, the creativity, and the fulfillment in your work when you are tapping into the purpose of your entire life. So you don't have to manufacture your purpose. You don't have to manipulate your pleasure. You don't have to trick your brain or your body into thinking that you're enjoying your work. It actually just becomes overflow of what you're doing. You actually just get to enjoy it because you're in alignment with that purpose. And then you also get to be fulfilled in your work day in and day out. You get to fall in love with the process. One of the things that I coach my students on is falling in love with the process, because if you only like the milestone moment, you actually will grow a hatred for the process because it becomes the barrier to what you truly want. And so if we can define a mission that defines success as a day in and day out pursuit rather than a milestone achievement, you can fall in love with the process. All right. So what's the biblical view on life purpose? 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. So that all there means everything, including your business. It's for the glory of God. Ephesians 2:10 says, for we are God's masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. So how do you glorify God? Well, part of that, according to Ephesians 2:10, is to do good works. Galatians 5:6 says, the only thing that matters is faith that expresses itself in love. We all know that one person could do one thing for the right reasons and it'd be a beautiful thing. But a different person doing the same thing for the wrong reasons could be evil, right? And so God is after our intentions. The Bible also says that man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. So we know that God is after our heart here, not just our outward good works, right? Psalm 138:8 says, the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Your steadfast love, O Lord, endures forever. Do not forsake the work of your hands. So now we start to understand God is revealing the behind the scenes, his own motive, God's own motive towards you is love. And not just that, he loves you, and you are only able to love someone else. And you're only able to love him because he loved you first. That's what 1 John 4:19 says. We love because he first loved us. And not only that, he's not giving you some external love, but he's actually giving himself, because 1 John 4:16 says, God is love. And whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. Therefore, when God is loving you, he's actually giving himself. And that's what the gospel is, right? Christ giving himself as a sacrificial lamb. That is the ultimate act of love. It is God giving himself. And so we know, therefore, that if we're going to love people through business, we have to be plugged into the source of love, the embodiment of love, and that is God himself. So we can't love other people through our business unless we're receiving love from him, right? And embracing that love and accepting that love. Matthew 6:33 says, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. The context of this verse, when it says all these things, is it's asking, like, well, what will I wear? Or what will I eat? Or what will I do? Or how will I go about my day-to-day life, right? How will all these things work out for me, right? And we know even in Romans 8:28 says, it says that God is working all things out for the good of those who love him. right? So all we need to do, all we need to be focused about is seeking first his kingdom in a very intentional and strategic way, day by day, doing that, and God will be the provider. God will be the sustainer. He will be the author, the beginner and the beginning and the end, right? He will take care of the rest. And so we are called to seek first his kingdom. That is that's the primary purpose of business, and it's the primary purpose of your life. It's to love God and to love people. So what does this look like in business? Well, I believe the mission of your business is the foundation of your business, right? We talk about building business, and we typically think about the walls of the business, the structure of it, how it's formatted, what decorative furniture we're going to put inside, what cool tactics we're going to use. But we have to start with the foundation in order to make sure that we know what kind of walls we can build, what kind of structure we can build, and put everything that we want to do in our business, make sure it aligns with the foundation. What is the foundation? It's the intersection of your life purpose, your skills and your experience, and people with a problem. So we just talked about life purpose, right? We just talked about how your purpose is given to you. It's not something you have to manufacture or create. Your purpose on this earth is to love God and love people. Full stop, period, right? But we also know that you have been gifted with gifts, right? With skills, hard skills, soft skills. Maybe you're a great listener. Maybe you're great at Excel. Maybe you're good at financial stewardship. Maybe you're good with physical health or mental health or emotional health. Maybe you're good at running. Maybe you're good at basketball. Maybe you're good at, there's so many different things. And it's a beautiful thing that you have a diverse and unique set of skill sets and experiences that you have collected and maybe even partly born with. And so what we want to do is take full inventory of all three of these circles, right? The last circle being people with a problem. This is what I also call the empathy circle, right? Who does your heart break for? In a room of 100 people, who's the person that you naturally gravitate towards? When they start to tell you about their life and their problems come up, you don't sit back and roll your eyes. You lean in, because you know what it's like to face the problems they have faced, because you yourself have faced them, or someone close to you has, right? There's a natural level of empathy when you decide to build your business to serve people with a problem that you can relate to. There's a natural level of empathy that corporations spend billions of dollars on every year to try to replicate, but they can't. Because the gift of experience that you've gone through, yes, even your trials can be a gift, right? Even the hardships and the discomfort that you have faced. First Peter says that the discomforts you have faced in this life have equipped you to comfort others, right? So what problems have you been equipped with? For every problem, there is an opportunity. For every problem, there is the opportunity to explore a new skill set. And so some of the skill sets and the gifts that you have today are a testimony to what God has done in your season of life when you were facing that problem. And what I did in my previous business, I ran a full service marketing agency from 2018 to 2021, beginning of 2022. And I built my entire business in the yellow here. I saw a need in the marketplace. I saw a problem in the marketplace. I knew what the green circle was, right? I wasn't necessarily motivated by empathy. Initially I was, but I drifted away from that, but I'll get to that in just a second. And I saw my ability, I saw gifts in marketing and coaching and building systems and all these things, right? And I was like, perfect. You know, I got this skill set. I see a need in the marketplace. I'm going to build my business there. And I forgot, or I didn't forget, I left out my purpose, my primary motive being to love God and love people. And I ended up being profitable but purposeless. We were making $15,000 a month. My wife and I, we bought a house, we bought a car, we converted the car into a camper, we traveled. And I was like, okay, cool, now what? Like the most unfulfilled I have felt in my entire life was when I was making the most money, because it was when I realized that what the Bible says is true, is that you're designed for something more. You're designed to connect your business to your life purpose. But I've also seen people who are very clear in their life purpose to love God and love people, and they know they've a heart compassion and empathy for a specific group of people, but they don't bring relevant skills and experience to the table, and they end up being purposeful but unhelpful. because they're not adding value, right? And so, but I've also seen people who they know what their life purpose is. They want to love God and love people, and they know what their gifts are. And they bring a lot to the table, but they haven't narrowed that down to helping a specific group of people with a specific problem. And they end up being very passionate, but unprofitable. And so what I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs do is embody all three of these circles to build the foundation of your business at the intersection of all three of these circles. And most people have between 2 and 2.5 of these circles, right? Most people, you're probably looking at this right now and thinking, yep, that's my circle. That's the one that for me to get to the next level of clarity or business growth or whatever it is, I know I need to go deeper with this circle, right? So I would just encourage you even to spend some time thinking through this. And I'll offer a free coaching call at the end of this video, but I'd be willing, if you watch this full video and you maybe spend a little bit of time in this process, I would love to meet you where you're at and help you get another layer of clarity on whatever circle you're struggling the most with, okay? So step one is to start with your purpose beyond profit and to build out your mission. How do you do that? At the intersection of these three circles. I just want you to notice some of the words that people use after having gone through the process. Listen to this. My fire was only sustaining with a pilot flame for the last several months. Yesterday's call and working on the homework ignited my flame again. What would it mean for you to have your flame reignited, right? To have that passion, that purpose, fueling the reason you're waking up in the morning and wanting to get to work, right? It helps clarify my message a lot. Similar to what this testimonial said of, allow me to speak clearly to my values. And I've been getting content ideas like crazy. When you are inwardly clear on what your purpose is, it overflows into your external communication. The people that you're communicating with, your target audience, right? And your friends and family, when they ask what you do, it becomes more clear externally, the more clear it is internally. So of course, if we get clarity on what your mission statement is, we develop a one-sentence mission statement, of course it's going to be more clear in how you communicate in your messaging and your marketing, right? Steve said, I knew at a low level that there had to be a way to be a good steward in business, but I have seen for decades where selfish individuals hustling people, then worse, bragging about it. And I've seen this a lot in the marketing industry too, is the hustle for the milestone culture that we live in, which is 10K and 90-day programs. Those types of, I'm using that as a placeholder for all those types of programs that are just like, let's hit this milestone, right? And for me, my mission is to help entrepreneurs love people with aligned business systems. The problem and opportunity with that is I have not graduated from loving people through business. I am still figuring that out, right? Years later, I'm still learning with, and of course, I'm not doing that perfectly day in and day out, right? I still fail in that from time to time, right? But I'm growing and I'm learning. And that's the beautiful thing about having a mission that's inherently good. Like let's say, like in my space, right? I'm helping entrepreneurs love people, right? That's inherently good. Loving people is always good. No matter what season of life you're in, no matter what context you're in, no matter what tools you use, loving people is always good. If you're in the health space, bodily health, mental health, stewarding your body, that's always good, right? There's never a context in your life where stewarding your body isn't a good thing. The problem is that what we see a lot of times in the hustle culture is aligning your whole business to a tool. And the problem with a tool is that it doesn't have inherent value. Its value is dependent on the context, like a shovel, right? A shovel could be used for good, could be used for bad, right? Its value is dependent on the context, right? Influence could be good influence, could be bad influence. Depends on who you're influencing, how you're influencing people, and what you're influencing people towards, right? Impact could be good impact, could be bad impact, right? How are you impacting people? What kind of impact are we talking about? We use these vague platitudes that sound good, but when you really look at it, they're just tools, right? And some of those tools we can't even control. Like the business, like what comes out of loving people. There's amazing, amazing things that I've seen my students achieve and receive from loving people through their business. But the problem is I can't claim that and claim that's the results that I delivered on, right? We were obedient to what God called them to do. I'm being obedient to what God is calling me to do. But the results of that, and I believe there's a scripture, I think it's in Matthew, one of the Gospels, that talks about this, that I planted, Apollos watered, but God caused the growth. And so there's beauty when you surrender the growth, you surrender the result, and you take ownership of what you can control and aligning your mission to where you can be successful day in and day out, regardless of what other people do, regardless of what external circumstances come your way. You get to decide whether you're successful day in and day out by whether or not you're in alignment with your mission. Okay? Some of the other words, I'm so glad to be done chasing the latest fad, idea, or system. I love that, because when you have clarity on your purpose and you're in alignment with your purpose, the fads dissolve away because it can't vie for your intention anymore, because real enjoyment has settled in. Real purpose and motivation has settled in. Look at this, to find the right focus. You get to take 10 steps in alignment with a singular focus rather than 10 steps in 10 different directions. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that with even purpose-driven entrepreneurs who take 10 steps in 10 different directions. They're just dipping their toes in a lot of different pools. And they never actually get in because they don't have a clarity of focus, a singular focus, a singular mission that drives all of their behavior. That's step one, is starting with your purpose beyond profit. Step two, share your story. Your broken story is a beacon of hope and change to the people you're called to serve. I highlighted and emphasized broken because most people think that they have to now be perfect experts and can't struggle with their problem anymore. The people that they're helping, they think that they have to be completely removed and resolved from that problem. And it actually is cutting off the roots of your impact, because you don't have to be a perfect expert. In fact, you're not. If you're pursuing something inherently good, there will always be room to grow, which is a beautiful thing, because as you continue to grow, you get to keep turning around and helping the people who are one or two steps behind you. And there's the potential for unlimited growth, and the lifetime value of a customer skyrockets when you're in a real relationship with that person and growing alongside with them, rather than just a, step one, pay me money, hit your milestone, see ya, peace out. Right? That might be a profitable business in the short term, but a long-term successful business is one that's built on trust. And part of building trust is being authentically where you're really at and sharing that. I'll never forget doing that for the first time when I was running my profit-centered business, and God was convicting me and telling me to shut that down and start over from zero with Purpose Beyond Profit at the beginning of 2022. I put all of my landing pages and website pages leading to one single landing page. And I sent an email to all of my past, current, and future clients. And I told them I built this business thinking that the purpose of it was to make money. And you guys ended up becoming a tool because money was my mission. And now I'm wanting to figure out what it looks like to make loving people the mission and money the tool. When I first shared my story, the unbelievable fulfillment of getting to be who I was all the time, and admitting that I wasn't a perfect expert, but I was figuring things out, and I was being humble and honest and inviting God into the space of my business and my personal life simultaneously, that I didn't have to hide anymore, that I have to fake it till I make it. Was like the story went viral. I'm not preaching that to say like your story's gonna go viral if you're the more transparent you are. Like, I don't believe that. But I will say that I started to attract people who raised their hand and said, me too. I know exactly what it's like to be burnt out and unfulfilled from chasing money. And I want to go on this journey with you. And I had nothing to sell at that point. And part of me, like looking back in hindsight, when I'm being profit centered, I'm like, man, I wish I had something to sell, because I would have sold like hotcakes. But it was really, really cool to just hop on calls with people and to give them the space to share their story and to share my story. And I started to build a community, which led us to step three, which is building real relationships beyond momentary transactions. And that's what happens. That's the gateway from sharing your story, is you start to create opportunities and you start to create space for other people to share their story. And you realize that you don't have to go out chasing people. You don't have to go viral. You don't have to send unsolicited messages and emails all the time trying to get people's attention, because you're attracting them because A, you have a heart to serve and love them. You're thinking from a giver mindset. You're telling your story transparently, which builds trust. You're creating space for them to be themselves where they don't feel like they have to pretend and hide. right? The part of the problem with chasing your audience is they feel like they have to pretend and hide because you're coming across as someone desperate, and you're coming across as someone who probably is that perfect expert, and it's unsafe. It's unsafe to be who you really are with someone who isn't, right? So all of these steps bleed into each other. And we talked about the giver mentality versus taker mentality. It is very difficult to have a giver mindset, if I'm being totally transparent, because a lot of times it works out really well in your favor. And I think that's a biblical concept, right? It's more blessed to give than to receive. And so you start to give thinking, well, how am I actually going to get out of this? And you can start to predict, you can see trends. Like I can see trends in my business where like I've given in this way and I've received, but like to check, it goes back to the heart level, right? Which is what God is looking at, right? Man is looking at the outward appearance, God is looking at the heart. But when you have a heart to freely give with boundaries, right? So for example, as I'm on this, recording this video, I'm asking myself, how can I give? And the answer is not my full 12-week coaching program, because I can't do 12 hours of coaching when you're not even live with me here on this call, right? And this is pre-recorded. So there are boundaries to, and I have a finite level of time and energy, even with my free coaching call, right? I schedule that 30 minutes but in that 30 minutes, right? Within that boundary, within that context, I can show up and give you absolutely everything and not hold anything back out of fear, right? Thinking, oh, maybe you'll take this and run without me. And it goes back to that alignment with the mission. If you take what I give you in this video and that's all you needed the inspiration. You needed those one or two strategies. You needed the principles. You just needed to be reminded that you can have a purpose beyond profit in business and be successful, that you don't have to choose between being purposeful and profitable, that there's actually a way to do this. Like if that's all you need, take it, run with it. You don't need me. I'll be on the sidelines cheering you on. Great. But I also know that there's people who need handholding, they need the support, they need the live coaching, they need to tell me, okay, Jeremy, I get the principles, but tell me how to apply it into my business right here and right now. In this unique situation, in my industry, with my target audience, in my mission, great, I'm here, right? And we can build out a relationship where you pay me money and I deliver as a coach. And I get to show up every day with a heart ready to serve, right? So build real relationships, meaningful relationships. How this plays out is beautiful because every year, it's a picture from our first year of doing our annual retreat in my mastermind. So I have a 12-week coaching program I take everybody through. And when you graduate from the cohort, you get access to the opportunity to join the mastermind. And so we have been working together for some of them for over a year, some of them for a few months. And we rented out this mansion. We all came together and met for the first time. And it was really cool because my wife got to see this because she wasn't working with me yet at this point. And she saw us like embracing each other as if it was like the airport moment, where you're just like embracing someone like you miss them, but we had never met in person. It was really cool to see that overlap of how these relationships we had built digitally, but like they were crossing over into in-person relationships. And it was the pinnacle of my career so far, was getting to be in community with people who I had coached and loved on and served, and they had coached and loved on and served me because I was learning so much from them as well. And this is what it looks like. Like you don't have to say peace out and be done. Like you can continue to grow and develop as a leader, and that will continue to grow and develop your business. Anyways, and then also this just goes to speaking to in the top right, like you giving space for other people to share their story and their perspective, right? With your audience. I talk about this all the time. Like it's incredibly profitable and sustainable for you as a business owner to not just create communication channels where you get to speak to your audience, and not just where you get to speak to your audience speaks to you, but when you create space for your audience to speak to each other. That's when you're running a movement. Like that's when the movement starts happening with and without you. It's explosive when you're connecting people in your target audience. It's explosive because you're rallying people around not just you now, but your mission, right? And other people get way more excited about the mission because it involves them. If you have a mission bigger than you, it necessarily involves other people, right? Anyways, At the end of the retreat, it was 4 days, and people still wouldn't leave. Like the cleaners for the Airbnb had come in, and they were like cleaning, and they were kind of hinting for us to leave. And I'm looking around, and there's just pods of people, like all around, like just not wanting to leave after spending 4 days straight in a mansion together. It was so beautiful to see, just real relationships being built through business. Um, Melissa said, I feel like I've accomplished more in 8 months than I have in 8 years. This group of like-minded people are amazing. Diversity is amazing. Having diversity of industry, diversity of skill sets is incredibly powerful. But when you bring that together with like-mindedness, it's explosive. It's why I love the masterminds. It's why I love the cohorts. I used to only do one-on-one client work, and then I realized that in order to make it sustainable for my clients, to make it cheaper for them, I needed to do be one coach with a couple students at a time. And I thought the value of that would go down. And I realized not only could I charge cheaper for it, but the value went up because they're pouring into each other and seeing how biblical principles apply in completely different industries, in completely different contexts, and completely different backgrounds. It's amazing to see and just be reaffirmed and to elevate your belief that the Bible works for business. Like bringing God into your business is the best thing you could possibly do, right? Um, mm, I love that Ellie says here, there's no sense of having to go around the next corner to get what you need. No gimmicks, no baiting. You don't have to create gimmicks. Marketing isn't about being gimmicky. It's not about finding the next hack. It's not about finding the next marketing tool or AI tool or baiting people. Like, yes, please use tools. Absolutely. But there's something that happens when you just get to be you and your business is an overflow of who you are. That is, people see that and they resonate with that. And that is the most attractive marketing that you can have. I believe truth is the best marketing tool in the world. And that's not as, it doesn't sound as cool as the next, the next shiny object that comes out in a couple months from now, or that's out now. And like everybody wants to tell you that that's the band-aid that's going to fix everything. And the truth is band-aids just don't fix much, right? It's heart level work. It's deep-rooted issues that create the best opportunities. Step 4. So let's just recap. Step 1, start with your purpose beyond profit. Step 2, tell your story, your broken story. Step 3, build real relationships with people. Oh, we didn't even talk about, oh man, okay. Guys, I would love to take this so much deeper with you and apply this to your specific business. If you would book a free coaching call with me, I will show up for you. Show up to the call, the Zoom call. It'll be me and you one-on-one, and we will apply some of these principles to your business because I love to talk about mission partners. Like the exclusive way that I've grown my business is through mission partners. It's understanding that you don't own your target audience. They have entire lives outside of you, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Like when you start seeing your competitors as potential partners, first of all, because if anybody else is serving your audience, if you have a heart to serve your audience and that's your primary motivation, they're necessarily on the same side. So how can you build strategic partnerships that are beneficial for you, beneficial for the partner, and ultimately beneficial for the audience? When you have three-way mutually beneficial partnerships, it's explosive. It's explosive strategically for your business to have those types of partnerships. It's how every single one, I have leads coming in every single day from my mission partners. You're watching this video probably right now because of one of my mission partners, right? Because I'm meeting people where they're at by people who have already served you, who have already influenced you in a positive way, who have already provided a space for you to interact with other people. There's so many different angles to go about it, but ultimately what you should be doing and thinking about when it comes to relationships and lead generation is meeting your audience where they already are, building partnerships with people who the rest of the world would call competitors, who are people who are serving your audience with a different gift and a different skill set. Diversity is a beautiful, beautiful thing because he's equipped you uniquely to serve in a capacity that someone else can't, and vice versa. That's an opportunity, not a liability in your business. All right, we got to move on. Step 4, build sustainable systems. You're at your best when you're not doing everything yourself. I see this over and over again, especially it's heartbreaking to me when entrepreneurs are in the transition of their business or they're starting a business from scratch and they think that's the moment when they have to figure it all themselves. The problem is that's when your business is most malleable. And I see people who don't seek outside counsel and advisement, which Proverbs talks about. plans fail for lack of counsel. And I see them doing the deep work on their own, and they end up creating a foundation that cracks, and they build a whole house on that foundation, and you end up having to take away all the work that went on top of that foundation and then redo some of that foundation work. And then, yes, you can reuse a lot of the material that you had before, but it's so much easier when you don't have the walls already built, when you're at the foundational level, to start there. Seek advisement, seek counsel at that level. You don't have to stay at the level you're at. In fact, it's typically when you stay at the level you're at when you're the most susceptible to burnout. Because, and I know marketing coaches are not going to tell you this, but you're always going to have problems in your business, right? Even if you solve the biggest problem in your business right now, that's going to unlock a new opportunity, and that opportunity will unlock the next problem. And when you solve that problem, it'll unlock the next opportunity, the next level, and it'll just keep going. You will always have problems in your business, just like you'll always have problems in your life. Right? That's a good thing, because God is using those problems to grow you. You're not meant to stand still. And I think that's true even in your sanctification, even in Christianity. You're not meant to stand still. And so as you're solving problems, turn around and create a system for that, so you can leverage your time and energy to solve the next problem, because there will be a next problem. And you won't be able to solve it if all of your time and energy is spent on the previous sustaining the previous problem and this previous opportunity. Right? So as you are figuring these things out, right, build a system for it, build a repeatable process, automate it, delegate it, get a team. But don't just get a team from the beginning, because they'll bring their own system. They'll bring their own principles and values. So it's important that as you're going through these steps, you're thinking about this for you personally. You're making it personal. You're adapting. You're creating the culture. You're investing first. And then you invite other people into those values. You invite other people into that culture to repeat the process that you yourself understand, right? And so I don't mean this in a micromanaging sense, in the sense that I have to tell my graphic designer how to do graphic design, because truthfully, I suck at graphic design and I don't know the inward process of it. But I know how graphic design fits in with the rest of what we're trying to do. I know how graphic design fits in with my mission, right? So you have to do the deep work. From the deep work creates clear processes. From the clear processes, that's when you're able to automate and delegate, and therefore move to the next level so you can focus your time and energy there, okay? Step 5 is to lead yourself. How you lead your business is overflow of how you lead yourself. So if you want to lead your business better, it's physically impossible unless you lead yourself better. Your beliefs dictate your actions. All of them. So if any of your, and James says this, faith without works is dead faith, right? So all of our actions in our entire life are being motivated by beliefs. So if you have a false belief, it's necessarily being reflected in your actions. And all the wrong actions that you're taking in your life and your business are a result of false beliefs. The problem is false beliefs don't care about what context you're in or what role you're playing in that moment. Your false beliefs will affect your family. They will affect your friends. They will affect your business. They will affect your customers. It'll affect all of your decisions, right? So everything is connected. So you can't grow your business without growing yourself. Your body, mind, spirit, and emotions are all connected. They affect each other. When we deal with the deep-rooted issues of your business, some of these things come up. And if you can solve them in the context of your business, it'll change your relationships too. It'll change your health as well. If you only treat symptoms, you will have shiny object syndrome. What I mean by that is a lot of people come to me, and probably a lot of people will come to you looking for a Band-Aid. And if you offer Band-Aids as your product or service, you don't want to be just a Band-Aid for someone. There's definitely appropriate times to use Band-Aids. That's why they exist. There's great times to use Band-Aids. But for you, if you want to pursue real transformation and real change and really elevate the level that you're playing at in your life and in your business, it's going to require deeper work. It's going to require really leading yourself. Matthew 6:21 says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And what sticks out to me so much in this verse is I thought that where your heart is, there your treasure will be also, but it's not. It's the opposite. Your treasure leads your heart. I was not good at tithing until I got married, almost 5 years ago, where my wife started asking me, "Hey, did we tithe this month?" And she would just kind of gently, patiently wait for me to verbally process and justify, and basically get around to no. And that was conviction enough, um, explaining that to my wife. And when I looked at scripture and I saw God commanding us to tithe, I realized God wasn't commanding me to tithe because he needed my money. He was commanding me to tithe because I needed to tithe. I needed to invest my treasure. And so I started putting money in the plate even when my heart didn't feel like it. And what happened? My heart followed. My affection, my love, my desire for being a part of God's kingdom work, for even beyond that, just loving God grew. So I'm challenging you is to invest in your purpose beyond profit. If that's where you want your heart to be, if you want to see change and transformation and growing your business in alignment with your God given purpose, put your investment there. Put your time there. Put your energy there. Put your money there and watch your heart follow. And when you involve your heart, that's what brings meaningful, sustainable results. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I would love to give you a free coaching call and show up for you freely with a giver mindset where maybe we work together. Maybe all you need is just a customized blueprint for how to apply this kind of stuff to your business. These 5 steps. These 5 steps are pretty much all that I talk about. But there's 1,000 different ways to apply all these different principles, and it's really, really exciting to do it with a specific business in mind. And so if you bring a specific business idea or a specific business model you're already running, I'd love to encourage you, challenge you, hear you out, hear your story, create space for you to share. And it would just be my honor. So you can book a free coaching call below. And if you want to work with me in a cohort capacity, I have a 12-week coaching program where I walk you through each of these 5 steps, step by step, holding your hand, giving you support and accountability, giving you homework. I have a 30-page workbook that you work through and do the deep work, but then also just get into the marketing systems, like actually putting systems to your business, and being effective and efficient. I have those cohorts dropping every once in a while. But even if you're interested in the cohort, I'd still encourage you to book a free coaching call because I don't accept everyone. I want to make sure that we're a good fit first. And so, yeah, I would just encourage you to book a call either way. And thanks for this time.